Hey guys, I'm Buzz. I'm a tank player in Overwatch. Lately, I've noticed that my improvements to my mechanics, especially my aim, has started to plateau. So I decided to take a more structured approach and benchmark my skills using the Voltaic Benchmarks on Kovaaks FPS Aim Trainer. I spent 2 weeks training, tracking my results, and testing how much aim training actually transfers into Overwatch. Here's what I found. Now, I know that this experiment may sound odd coming from a tank player. Tank is not usually viewed as the most aim-intensive role. Outside of that, there are even some DPS players who don't aim train outside of the game. I used to think this way too. I used to think that Kovaaks is for Widow players, and I didn't even think that I needed to improve my aim that much, since it would come with time. But Overwatch, as a game, is deceptively demanding when it comes to raw aim. Unlike Valorant or CSGO, there's no gradual acceleration. Your aim has to adjust instantly to high-speed movement, verticality, and unpredictable hero movement abilities. Even though the hitboxes are a bit larger to compensate for this, aiming still feels extremely skillful. Especially in this 5v5 format where tanks take more direct duels and dive backliners, having solid tracking and click timing can really lower your time to kill and give you more consistent value in fights. I've linked a video by Matty OW, one of the best mechanical players in Overwatch, if you want to dive deeper into why aiming is so uniquely difficult in Overwatch. Since I've noticed these issues in my aim, I decided to do the Kovaaks Voltaic Benchmarks. If you're unfamiliar, Voltaic is an aim trainer-centered gaming community, and they release a playlist of scenarios in Kovaaks that they consider to be the fundamentals of aiming. If you don't have Kovaaks and don't want to spend the $10 to get it, Voltaic also has an aim labs routine with an actual integration to the game UI itself. I personally find myself preferring Kovaaks because of the flexibility and customization you can do, but the AimLab benchmarks seem to be effective as well. I just haven't done them before. The playlist includes a variety of scenarios, including clicking, tracking, and switching. Switching blends a little bit of both clicking and tracking since you have to acquire the target and then track it after you've acquired it. After I did these benchmarks, I documented my scores, and I was really surprised at the scores I was getting, and how low they were, even for a tank player. I started out with almost all iron and bronze level scores, with there even being a few I failed to break iron on, especially in the clicking category. Iron is the lowest rank in Voltaic's benchmarks, so I was considered even lower than that on some of the scenarios. I've put my original scores here on the screen, so if you'd like to check them out, go ahead and pause the video for a second. I realized at this point, since Overwatch is such an aim-intensive game, I should probably train my aim a little bit more. Before we fully dive into this, do you think that aim trainers like Kovaaks or Aim Labs actually help improve your aim in Overwatch? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read all of them and I'm very curious as to what's worked for you. With all of this information in mind, I decided to set out on my own aim training journey with the goal of getting better mouse control and better target acquisition. I began researching, trying different routines, using a different mouse grip, and even changing my sensitivity a lot. I've been following aim training content for a few weeks now, so I'm still very new to this space, and I fell into the routine paralysis of not being able to find a perfect routine, and not finding a good way to track my scores. I found a video by Corporate Surf, who is a very specialized tracking player, and he had recently shared an improvement framework that I've adopted and found a lot of success in. I'll link the video below where he explains the full training method, but for a short breakdown, he has a Kovaaks playlist that is ordered differently than the Voltaic benchmarks, but includes the same scenarios, just arranged in a way that makes more sense to him. His idea is that you should follow the order of his playlist and not go past a scenario until you've placed silver on it. After that, you go through and get silver complete, which is a silver rating on every scenario in the novice Voltaic benchmarks. This is intended to be a challenge, but not an impossible barrier to entry. Me personally, I was able to get silver on all of the tracking and switching scenarios and got gold on one of them. I've been struggling through the clicking, which makes sense since I mostly prefer tracking aim styles, and this is also why I'm struggling with Hazard and Overwatch.
I just wanted to come back to this in editing here, so that's why the mic sounds different, but I was actually able to get silver complete and a couple more gold scenarios when I was taking a break from editing.
The goal of Corporate Surf's framework is to get to silver complete, and then move on to getting platinum complete, which requires you to get gold on all of the novice benchmarks, and then move into the intermediate benchmarks. I won't break them down further since he has a full video detailing this and he will do it better than I can, but the end goal of his framework is to get you to master complete and then take those skills into your main game. As I've grinded through the aim trainers, I've found that I actually have less wrist and arm pain than I did before I started, which is pretty ironic to me because I expected the opposite. But it makes sense because I've started some wrist stretching that I do before every session and every 10 minutes or so even after I've started the training session. I've also made a lot of significant improvement in my aim, and I'm much more consistently able to pull off impressive mechanical plays in Overwatch, especially with the Hazard one-shot combo. If you are thinking of trying your hand at an aim trainer, I have 5 major tips for you, which will help you get on the right path for your aim training journey and clear up some of the misconceptions about the mechanics of aiming. Number 1. For a beginner, the Voltaic's novice benchmarks are very good to start. Don't worry too much about the specifics of your routine at first. It will stress you out trying to perfectly optimize your routine and your aim training strategy. As you get further into it, if you find yourself liking it, if you find yourself doing more, you may have different demands and you may need more of a challenge, but don't worry about this at the beginning. Number 2. Mouse grip is not as important as you might think. What is most important is that you are comfortable and you don't cause pain to your wrist and arm. In addition to this, always stretch your wrist before you play and after every few runs of the aim trainer. I usually try to stretch after every 5 scenarios or 5 to 10 minutes. I've linked the video that highlights the wrist stretches that I use. Aim training is much more intensive on your wrist than just playing a game because you're constantly adjusting your aim. So be conscious of this and don't injure your wrist. Number 3. Aiming the mouse with your wrist is not a bad habit. I've heard people online, especially in the Overwatch community, say that aiming with your wrist is a bad habit and that aiming with your arm is better for the long-term health of your wrist. While arm aiming can be better for your wrist, you lose out on the precision you can provide with your wrist and your fingertips. Proper stretching and taking breaks when you are fatigued can help prevent a lot of the injury to your wrist. In reality, utilizing all your muscle groups is the best way to add fluidity to the mechanics of your aim. You should be utilizing your fingertips, wrist, arm, and your shoulders to move the mouse, and all of those muscle groups will help prevent the pain in your wrist. Number 4. Sensitivity is not muscle memory. This one's controversial and I hear this misconception a lot, but it just simply isn't true. Sensitivity may feel like muscle memory since you've probably played on your same sensitivity for a long time, so it's the most comfortable. However, as you learn more about aiming, you realize it only takes a few seconds to a minute to adapt to a new sensitivity, and you can likely get back to the baseline of what your aim was on your old sensitivity very quickly. To test this theory, I played a match of Overwatch and started the game on my normal sensitivity, and then I swapped to a completely new sensitivity pretty early into the game. I found that I was able to hit roughly the same amount of shots that I was hitting beforehand, and my accuracy was the same before and after the change. I'm a big fan of experimenting with sensitivity and not being afraid to lose muscle memory that doesn't even exist in the first place. At the end of the day, find what is comfortable for you. If the sensitivity you've played on forever is the most comfortable, stick with it, but don't be afraid to experiment. Number 5. External aim trainers don't help you in Overwatch. This is easily the most common misconception I've heard in the Overwatch space when it comes to aim training. I've heard this take over 100 times and I even used to believe this myself. However, after playing aim trainers and having that laser-focused scenario to train your mouse control, reactivity, and your aim, I can confidently say that external aim trainers do assist you with in-game aim. The impact isn't immediate, and it isn't a one-to-one translation of the game, but being able to have better mouse control, better target acquisition, and better utilization of your peripheral view will help you improve your aim in your game of choice. With all that being said, that was my journey in aim training. Thank you all for watching. I hope that this video was informative and that you learned something. If you enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like, hit subscribe, and let me know your thoughts on aim trainers in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about aim training and what has worked for you. Also, I've linked my Discord server down below if you want to hang out, talk Overwatch, or get access to more advanced Overwatch resources. And if you're a fan of Overwatch mental coaching content, I have more videos on the end card that will help you out in your competitive journey. Thank you for watching.